Welcome all of you towards the next session of this past paper or the next phase of this past paper. So we were done with question number 6 in the previous phase. Now we are coming to question number 7. What does that say? A program uses a low-level language to write a program for a vending machine. Describe what is meant by the low-level language. Okay, now they are asking you to explain the low-level language. So as we know that the low-level language is something that is understood by the systems or by the machines, you may say, and it is utilizing the mnemonics. Mnemonics are the special characters. For example, hashtags, the statics, these type of the symbols are known as the mnemonics. So you can write it down. Language that is understood by the language that is directly understood by system, and it makes use of mnemonics. Now with part B, they are saying give two reasons why the programmer would choose to write the computer program in a low level instead of the high level. So you may say again, first part, you may write it down, can be directly accessed by the system. Accessed by system. Other thing you can write it down, will require less space in memory. And one more you can write it down. Uh, will take less time to execute, will take shorter to execute. So these could be few of the points. Okay, we do have a question, I think so. Yeah, you may write on this one as well. Makes use of the special hardware. Yeah, that's fine as well, Heather. Good. Now coming to question number 8. What is the question number 8 says? It says a manager or the company is concerned about a brute force attack. Now, what do you mean with the brute force attack? So it's an unethical sort of an attack. That means you are making the combination again and again, again and again until you just pass on with that particular password. Okay. Okay, so a manager at a company is concerned about the brute force attack on its employee user's account. Describe how a brute force attack can be used to gain access to the employee user's account. Okay, so it's for the 3 marks, so you may write it down. Multiple attempts can be made to guess a password until the correct password is found. It could be done. It could be done both manually and automatically by a system. No, you cannot write down in the point format until unless they are not asking you in the point format. Like for example, for part B, they have asked you in the point format. Only in this case, you can write it down in the point format. Otherwise, you need to write it down in the paragraph format. Okay, for part B, one possible aim for carrying out a brute force attack is to install malware on the company's network. Instead, two other aims of carrying out a brute force attack to gain access to the employee user's account. Okay, now what other things could be done? So you may say cracking, Now, cracking, you may write it down in the bracket. Changing data. You cannot write it down deleting because cracking is not regarding the deleting. Okay. And you may write it down hacking, stealing, or damaging the data. So these are the two things that you can write down. Okay, now they are saying identify three types of the malware that could be installed. Okay, now what three types of the malware that could be installed once you are into it? So you may write it down the spywares. You may write it down a virus and adware. You may write it down. You may write it down with the Trojan horses. You may write it down with the ransomware as well. You may write it down with the worms as well, file infector as well. So any of them you may write it down. Now part C. What does the part C says? Give two security solutions that could be used to help prevent a brute force attack being successful. Okay. So first of all, we could utilize the firewalls, the most important, and the other one that covers a lot of things is requiring a is implementing a biometrics. So these are the two most important things when it comes to the security management, because security is something, biometrics is something that, for example, a retina scan has been implemented. So it's quite difficult to hack with the retina scan or a thumbprint, these type of things, or facial detection as well. Okay. Now coming towards question number 9, what does the question number 9 says? It says the company uses robots in its factory to manufacture large pieces of furniture. One characteristic of a robot is that it is programmable. Okay, now they are asking about the two other characteristics of a robot. So the two characteristics of the robot are one, it is programmable, other should be this, able to sense the surroundings, sense surroundings, and the other one is degree of movement. Degree of movement. So these are the two characteristics. The other one is the programmable. Three characteristics of a robot. Give two advantages to the company employees of using robots to manufacture large pieces of furniture. Okay, now do remember that it is regarding the company employees, not to the company. Now, what will be the benefit to the company employees of placing the robots over there? So you may say employees won't need to lift heavy articles, or heavy parts of the furniture. You may write it down in that manner as well. And the other thing is that they do not need to perform repeated tasks. They do not need to perform repetitive tasks. Okay, we do have an answer, I think so. Yeah, you may write it down. This one, no need to work in the dangerous environment. That will be the one as well. Okay, coming towards part C. What does the part C says? It says give one disadvantage to the company's owner of using robots to manufacture large piece of furniture. So you may write it down. Okay, I think so. We have an answer first of all. Higher cost to implement. Okay. It may require the personal, higher cost to implement, as well as you may say it can be hacked, as well as one disadvantage of company owner, no, not for the hack. Yeah, hacking could be the one with the company's owner, and it may malfunction. Okay. May skill the workplace as well, or the workforce as well, because everything will be doing with the system. So obviously there will be a skill of the workforce. Sorry. Sorry. So higher cost to implement and to maintain and to maintain. Yeah, but regarding hacking, if it's but in this you need to write it down. If it is linked with the internet, in that case it could be hacked. But if it's a robot that it's not linked with the internet, so obviously it cannot be hacked. Okay, make sure for this one. Okay, now they are saying a student uses the internet or their schoolwork to research what is meant by farming. Okay, now they are asking about the farming. So what is farming? Farming is something you may write down. If someone is accessing your personal data, that is sorry, state the aim if they're not asking to define. So aim is something that if some to gain your personal data or your personal information, your bank details mostly. Okay, so you may write it down to access your personal information. So the main aim or the main reason for the doing the farming is to gain your personal information. Okay, not about the farming only. The spyware, the main aim is this one. Hacking, the main aim is this one. Any other sort of the virus, the main aim is this one to get your personal information or to destroy your data. These are the two majorly main aims. Okay. Now they are saying draw an annotated diagram to represent the process of the farming. Okay, now to represent how the process of farming is done, you need to represent make up a diagram. Now how are you going to make up a diagram for this one? What are the things that you do require? So do remember, farming is something that it will be redirecting you the fake to the fake or the bogus website instead of the real one, and it is downloaded in your systems. Okay, so make sure for that one. So we will be requiring few of the things over here. So real website, fake website, malware installed on users hard drive, and over here user, then it's a malware over here. Okay, now just because of this malware, what is happening? It will be going into this direction instead of this direction. So you may mention it over here. Users types correct IP, but is redirected. So this is how you could write it down this in this particular manner. This is how the farming is actually working on. Okay. Now they are saying for part C, what do they say? They say the student uses a web browser to access data on the internet. Explain the purpose of the web browser. Okay, now the purpose of the web browser, we did this one as well. To display, we have done this question in the other variant as well. To display the web pages by rendering HTML. So by rendering an HTML language, it will be displaying the web pages. Now they are saying storing cookies is one function of the web browser. Give three other functions of the web browser. Okay, now what are the three other things that a web browser can send? Okay, so sorry, can store, sorry. So it's sorry, functions, not store, the function of the web browser. So you may say send URL to the DNS, send URL to DNS. Now, what does that mean? It is something that we have just studied about accessing uh, a web page. So retrieval of a web page, there is a topic, a complete topic about this. Rendering means it will be converting an HTML language. Okay. Okay. Now coming back over here. So send URL to the DNS. It will be sending URL to the DNS servers. It can store or it can record user history. Recording users history. Okay. Apart from this, allowing user to use multiple tabs at the same time. Users to use multiple tabs. Okay. Okay. Now over here for the part E, what do they say over here? A student visits a website that uses the session instead of the persistent cookies. Session cookies means that they are temporary, persistent or permanent. Do remember that. Explain the difference between the cookies and sorry, between session cookies and persistent cookies. So with this one, you can write it down. Session cookies are number one. You can write it down. Session cookies are permanent, whereas sorry, are temporary, whereas persistent cookies are permanent. Session cookies are mostly utilized when we are doing with the online shopping and something like this stuff. Okay, persistent cookies won't be lost, so you can write it down in this particular manner. So just writing it down. Session cookies are temporary as they are stored in RAM or the primary storage, you may say. Whereas persistent cookies are permanent as they are stored in user's hard drive. User's hard drive. Session cookies are mostly utilized while online shoppings, whereas persistent stores data of frequently visiting websites. Frequent stores data of frequently visited sites. So this is how you can differentiate between it. Okay. So that was all from this paper. That's 221011 May June 2023. Inshallah, meeting you guys in the next session of the early pass paper. Thank you so much, guys. Allah Hafiz.